So, dear students, now I am going to explain how to plot underroot ID versus VGS plot in Origin software. So, to understand this, if I say that you should install this Origin software, but how you will get it, I have already given it in file section of your class. You can go here. There is folder Origin. This folder, complete folder, you select this folder, then select download and download this complete folder and keep it somewhere where in your system, keep it somewhere, and then you can start installing. I can go to install also. I can go to install option. Suppose I have kept this Origin file here in the E drive. There is Origin folder in which there is there are so many files. First you can open this text file origin key.txt. You can copy this key, you can control C, copy this key from the text, then you can click on here origin.exe. There is some setup, so this setup you have to run, then click here, it will start, and during the installation it will ask the file this key, then you can provide this key which you have copied here. So this is already done in my system. So better now I can explain how to use this Origin. So I am going to Origin. This is showing Origin 6.0 professional. Clicking on this, then it is other things should be closed. This is starting two columns, column A and column B. Column A may be VGS, column B will be ID. Also we want underroot ID, so I will add another column, add by right click and add new column. So column C is also available. Okay, and then I need data. I need VGS in this x-axis, that is A in column A. X-axis is column A. B is also y-axis, C is also y-axis, but in B we can put ID. In C we can calculate underroot ID with the help of this Origin software. So first original data which we have exported in last lab, that is VGS versus ID. ID versus VGS we have already exported. That data we can go in the folder where we are working. We are working here in this VLSI lab. Here we can go, and there is a file like here vt1 and vt1.txt. So from the LTSpice we have exported the plot, and this is the plot. This is the data of the plot. So basically column 1 is this column is VGS. It is first column is VGS, second column is IDF mass transistor M1. So this both we can copy directly. And it can be pasted in the Origin. There are two columns, so you can select first column, then control, select second column, and control V. Why this? It is pasting. Let us see how the IV looks. This is the IV. If it is showing some below 0 some scale, but we can also change the scale on the y-axis. It is showing some negative value, but if we can put it 0, minimum of the y-axis will be 0. So now if you want to find out VG threshold voltage from this one, so here it is leaving this axis at this point. This is the threshold voltage, means approximate threshold voltage can be approximated from ID versus VGS also. And you want to read it, here the screen reader is there. You can take it, this screen reader here somewhere. It is showing around 0.25, around 0.25. This is the approximate method, but exact method will be giving you more exact result. Wherever it is current starts increasing, at that point you are putting the cursor and putting the screen reader from here. There is screen reader, you are putting here, and then means exactly wherever when current starts increasing, that point is decided by this plot. and you can read it here. So by taking this one and putting it here, 1 minute, again taking this one and then putting here at this point, sorry, wrong point place, wherever it is starting, just at that point I should place, escape, take, so this point wherever it is starting, so I think here, so 0.25 or 0.26 it is approximately coming. Escape, more accurately you can put, actually putting which place, if somewhere here we can see here also some current, but it is suppressed, but it is there some current, so somewhere here we can put it here, so around 25 or 26 is coming. It is approximate value from IDVG, but it is not exact value. You can decide if you plot ID versus ID versus under root ID versus VGS. So first let me save this file, save project, untitled name is there .opj, that name I can give something like VTH, suppose VTH, threshold voltage you are calculating VTH, we are giving the name .opj. Here by default it will go through LT Spice directory, but I have provided VLSI lab directory in which we are working, so we are saving it. Now column C, you want to plot, you want to make this column C as under root ID, column B is ID, you want to make column C as under root ID, then right click it and set column values. Set column values, by default column A minus column B it is written, but no worry, we can decide. So we want, what we want, under root of column B. So first you add column B, suppose column B you have chosen here from here, then add column, then you select this column, and what operation you want to do on column B, you want to do from the operation, some mathematical operations are available, so we want to make under root. So if we come down, then under root or square root can be seen, we can see here somewhere, we will see square root. Drop down menu is there in which we can check where it is. It is down, go down, some down, then yeah, here sine hyperbolic, below that square root. So choose a square root and add function. So add function, then click OK. So then it is calculating square root of column B. Column C is plotting, giving the data which is needed under root ID. Now we can plot this VGS versus ID versus VGS. Here three options, either line you want, or you want a symbol, or you want line and symbol both. I am choosing line and symbol both. So this is the plot of under root ID versus VGS. This axis we can write, it is the square root of ID, SQRT of ID, IDS. DS you want to make a suffix, you can choose this way, then close bracket. Then its unit also you want to write, unit is ampere to the power half, so a cap we will take from the keyboard, then 1/2, so that we can understand. It is square root of ID, unit is ampere to the power half, okay. And this one is VGS, so we can write VGS, and GS should be as a suffix, okay, take as a suffix. Next we want to provide unit, it is in volt, so okay, so VGS in volt. And also this is the 0 value, but below it is starting, y-axis is starting from minus 0.002, that is not required, because during the tangent, if you draw tangent and it is touching x-axis, that will be not 0, the current will not be 0 at this point. So to make this y-axis should start from 0, we can go to scale, and this minimum or from minus 0.002, it is replaced by 0. It will start now from 0. So start from 0. Now very good idea we can find out from this one. Take a line and make a tangent. Take a line and just touching this straight portion of the plot. It should be touching and coming down. Should be touching and coming down somewhere here. So it is the value which we have to find out. To find out value, we can take this screen marker, screen reader. Then we put here wherever it is touching, what is the value. You can see 0.238 or 0.24. So this is threshold voltage is around 0.24. So we can save this one. And y is 0. Y is 0 here, we can see almost 0. So it is correct reading. It is almost 0. Y is 0 and x is 0.238. So it is okay, good enough. And 0.238 means 0.24. So threshold voltage is coming around 0.24. And below threshold voltage also some current is there. This is due to the sub threshold leakage. So this region of operation is called sub threshold region, because if the gate to source voltage in NMOS transistor, if gate to source voltage is positive but below threshold voltage, then maybe there are some chances that some minority charge carriers, means electrons, may be accumulated under the oxide. Though the density of the electrons is not exactly equal to the density of holes in the bulk of the semiconductor, but it is less. But it is some density is there. So some electrons are there, that is due to that some leakage, some electrons are accumulated. Though this region is called weak inversion region, and below above threshold it is called a strong inversion. So above threshold means above this threshold voltage, if you are applying voltage, then whatever current you are getting, that is coming due to the strong inversion. And below threshold voltage, some positive voltage is given. Then here in this zone, some underroot ID you are getting. So this is basically due to B1, even up to here also. So this is sub threshold region. It is called sub threshold region, which is also called starting from the any positive voltage you have given, and if you are further increasing but you are below threshold voltage, there is some very negligibly small current, and this current nature is different. It is not straight as here linear variation. It is not like that. Underroot ID variation not linear here, because here current is exponentially, as we can see ID varies exponentially. So this nature is different. But this one is linearly varying, because underroot ID you are plotting. Underroot ID means root beta by 2 VGS minus VT. So IDS is in saturation region, it is given by beta by 2 VGS minus VT whole square. When taking underroot ID, then it becomes underroot beta by 2 and then VGS minus VT. So linear variation is there. This linear variation is there, and this is why we are able to interpret this as a threshold voltage, because you are drawing tangent on this linear portion, and wherever it is touching at this point, IDS is 0. And in the equation, underroot ID equal to root beta by 2 into VGS minus VT. In this equation, if you put ID equal to 0, then that equation gives VGS equal to VT. So at the point here, ID is 0. At this point, whatever gate to source voltage you are applying, that is called threshold voltage. So this is the extra point which we wanted to add, how to get the threshold voltage by underroot ID versus VGS. Though threshold voltage can be approximated from the ID versus VGS plot itself, but it will give more exact value. So it is giving 0.238 means around 0.24 volt for the NMOS 50 nanometer N channel MOSFET, and similarly for the P channel MOSFET it will be negative side. Threshold voltage will come in negative side. For P channel MOSFET it will be around the same value, but in negative side. That is possible. So now origin explanation is over. I can move to the body effect. Study of body effect. It is recording or not? Yeah, recording. It is recording, then fine. So this is the marker screen reader. This one you can take and you can read data at any point. So either you find out from ID versus VGS, that also possible, or you plot and root ID versus VGS and draw a tangent and wherever cutting that point you read. From that X is voltage, Y is current. So X is this much. So this graph you can save. So in this way you can read it. And now origin explanation over, I can come to the LT spice. So I will stop this one. But if anybody has some question on the origin, how to use origin software, and then I can explain here. Otherwise, I am moving to LT spice to explain the body effect. Dear student, do you have any question on this? No? Okay, moving. Okay, so let us open LT spice. Next, I want to explain, study the body bias effect on the IV characteristics of the NMOS as well as PMOS. We have to study. So, what we will do, that circuit I am opening first, and then I will explain. So, let us open the circuit. Not new, already created. So, I will save some time. Instead of creating, I will open directly. So, body effect. This is the circuit. And previously in all experiment we were connecting this. This is N channel MOSFET. We were connecting this body to the to the source of the N channel MOSFET, and then it is grounded. So basically, no effect of the body was coming because body was already grounded through source. But in this one, we are disconnecting from source and we are giving some voltage to the body by connecting this voltage source. By default, it is given 0 volt, and this source name is given VBS. VBS means voltage between body and source. It is providing voltage between body and source. And at the gate, some source is connected VGS. At the drain side, some source is connected, it is VDS. And source is grounded. Body is not connected to source. Body is separately connected with this source, new voltage source. And then by default, this is given 0, this is given 0, but the drain is given 1 volt because we want to plot ID versus VGS characteristics at drain voltage of 1 volt. So here, even here, you don't give any volt. During this command, LT spice command, we can provide. If here also you can keep it 0, but let it be there 1 volt, no issue. To remember it that this technology is working at 1 volt, therefore I am providing 1 volt here now. And I want to ramp this VGS by keeping different VBS. Initially, we will keep VBS equal to 0. That will be exactly equal to the this one connected to this one. Our body is connected to ground. VBS is 0 volt means body is connected to ground. But further, we will provide VBS equal to minus 0.5 volt, then minus 1 volt, then minus 1.5 volt, then minus 2 volt. So then 4 more set of data will be produced, for which we will see what is the IV characteristics and how threshold voltage is changing. So we will see from the plot that threshold voltage is increasing as you are increasing the voltage at this body voltage getting increasing. So if body voltage is increased, then threshold voltage from the ID versus VGS plot, we can see that is also increasing. This effect you will study for NMOS. And in the similar fashion, you can study for PMOS also. For PMOS, instead of giving positive voltage at gate, it will be given negative voltage. Here also at drain also negative voltage. And this one will be inverted also. VBS will be inverted. Everything will be inverted. And circuitry will be similar. So that we can see. Also, if circuit is complete and MOS transistor name is given here, by default its name is NMOS. But by right clicking and providing its name and dimension n_50 n, dimension, channel length is 50 nanometer, channel width is 0.5 micrometer, all these provided. Then we are going to this edit, then spice directive. By spice directive, here we can write the what model we want. So dot include schema cdu underscore models dot txt. This we have included here, and then we have placed here. After that, one simulation command is required. Spice analysis command. So spice analysis command we have chosen, and we have chosen DC sweep because DC simulation we want. Also, we can provide three sources. First source is VGS. First source is .dc VGS 0 to 1 volt. It is varying from 0 to 1 volt with increment of 10 millivolt. It is given. And second source we have provided. VBS. VBS means body voltage. This body voltage we are providing VBS. It is also linearly varying from 0 to minus 2 volt. Increment is minus 0.5 volt. Third voltage source we have provided VDS, but we don't want to give too many values. We want to fix for each plot its value is 1 volt. So VDS, then list. Instead of linear ramping, we are providing list. List also can be provided at least 3 value. It is given in this GUI plot. So I don't want too many values. I want only 1 value. So VDS is given only 1 volt. So it's fine. After that, clicking OK and placing, it will complete the spice analysis command. .dc VGS varies from 0 to 1 volt with increment of 10 millivolt. VBS is varying from 0 to minus 2 volt with increment of minus 0.5 volt. And VDS has only 1 value. List is provided, which is 1 volt. So in this way, complete commands are given. Next, we can run the simulation. We can see the effect. So let us see. Running simulation, and this is the plot which is coming automatically. It is coming, but we can select here ID you want to plot here. By clicking here, it will plot. After that, some texts are also added. So how it is added? We can write that we can right click and draw. There is a draw, then text option is there. Here we can write something like VBS equal to -1, suppose -1 volt. So this we can click OK and then put it here somewhere like that. So in this way, in this fashion, we have first put VBS equal to 0, then VBS equal to minus 0.5 volt, then VBS equal to minus, because this first plot is showing for the first set when VBS was 0. This is second set, VBS equal to minus 0.5, VBS equal to minus 1, VBS equal to minus 1.5, and then 2. So this is basically increasing, threshold voltage is getting increased. We can see. So these are the plots, and for each set, if you want to export data and want to calculate the, otherwise without exporting also, instead of plotting these all the sets together, you have to find out threshold voltage for all the cases. For the VBS already you have got it, but for minus 0.5 volt, minus 0.1 volt, minus separately you can plot. Instead of plotting all the 5 set, you can plot only one set, and from this plot wherever it is increasing, like here current is increasing here somewhere, so we are getting 0.24 threshold voltage. In second case, here it is increasing, some threshold voltage will be changing. The red one is increasing somewhere here, so threshold voltage further changing. This one some different value, this one some different. So all the cases different threshold voltage you can get, and you can tabulate, you can make a table and make it. Similarly, for we have already discussed in previous labs. By varying the W also we can find out different threshold voltages. By varying the channel length also we can find out the different threshold voltages. Also from the ID versus VD characteristics, ID versus VDS characteristics, we can find out channel length modulation parameter. So all are these tasks which you have to perform. Next, I can move to the CMOS inverter design. And also why it is, whatever you have written, now you want to save. So plot setting, you can go and save the plot setting. If you choose save plot setting, then the same file name will be there, then .plt. For saving the plot setting, the file name will be same as the circuit file name, but extension was different. Here extension is .plt. So body effect .plt will be saved. If you save it, next time you will run, then same plot will be automatically coming without any means without selecting. Otherwise, if you are not saving, then every time you have to select that ID, you have to select, and then you have to place this text if you want text also. So these may be provided every time if you don't save it. But if you save it from here, this is the option, plot setting, and then save plot setting. So by this way we can save the whatever desired plot. next time if you run, automatically this setting will be there. So this is already done here. Next, this PMOS, NMOS will be replaced by PMOS. VGS will be similar, VDS will be similar, but voltage applied during the simulation, it will be 0 to -1 volt. The increment will be negative. BBS will be also reversed. You can say VDS will be -1 volt, like that. Then you can do that for PMOS also. Next, I can move to the CMOS inverter. If you are having no question, then I can move to CMOS inverter explanation. Do you have any question now on the body effect? Dear student, body effect study clear?
No, sir, no doubt till now.
So now I'm moving to the CMOS inverter design. Okay, thank you. So I'm closing this one and moving to the CMOS inverter design. Open CMOS inverter design, but it has two parts: transient characteristics and voltage transfer characteristics. Previously, we have discussed a little bit about voltage transfer characteristics. Let me start with transient characteristics first. So CMOS inverter transient characteristics I am explaining. So here it is similar. This circuit is similar as the VTC plot circuit for VTC plot. One PMOS is here on the top side, one MOS is on the downside, and gates are common, and drains. Both drains of both the transistors are connected. Source of the PMOS is connected to highest supply voltage VDD, and source of the NMOS is connected to the lowest potential point, and source of PMOS is connected to the highest potential point of the circuit. Source of NMOS to the lowest potential point of the circuit. From this common drain, there is output. We are taking output, and there is also some load, capacitive load. This value of the capacitor is 50 femtofarad. So this is also just one output port is created, and from the input, for the input we are providing input at gate port, common gate point. So this is the source, voltage source, which is connected to the input port, and its the source name is given V in, and you are taking output at this point, and obviously body of this PMOS is connected to the highest potential point, body of NMOS is connected to the lowest potential point, and this source is modified. Previously it was DC source. Here it looks same, from the symbol it looks same, but we have done some modification. How to do modification, that I am explaining. Like here, if you go in symbol and you take a source, voltage source here, if you take a voltage source here, suppose, click OK and place it here and escape, then right click. So by default it is asking some DC value only, and it is working like a DC voltage source. But if you go to advanced, in advanced, by default it is none selected, but if you want to make it pulse, then you can choose it pulse. So if you are making it pulse, then it is asking initial value, then on value. So initial value means low stage. When it is low, pulse is low, then what is the value? Then we are giving 0 value. Or on, what is the value? It is, this technology is working at 1 volt, so we are giving on value 1. Delay, time delay, maybe few picosecond we can provide. Rise time few nanosecond, fall time few nanosecond, same exactly we can provide same rise time, fall time exactly same. Also on time is pulse width of the pulse. So on time it may be suppose 1 nanosecond, and then period will be just double of this one, or maybe different also, but generally we are considering on time and off time is same, then 2 nanosecond, on time 1 nanosecond, and off time 1 nanosecond, then 2 nanosecond. Then the number of cycles which you want to show in this pulse, it can be decided here or during the simulation command, whatever up to which time you want to plot, that can be decided. So this is the modification which is done in this source. This modification is visible if I click here, right click here, we can see initial value is given 0 and on value is 1. Initial value 0, on value 1, means pulse is starting from 0 to 1, means switching between 0 and 1. When it is on, it is 1 volt. When it is means not present, pulse is not present, or in a off condition, it is 0 volt. So total time period will be considered, means high and low all included, then time period will be there. So delay also pulse is not starting until 2 nanosecond. Delay is given 2 nanosecond initial delay, and rise time 10 picosecond. Very small rise time is given. Means from low to high it will rise in 10 picosecond, and from fall time is also 10 picosecond. So from high to low also it will come within the 10 picosecond. And also there is some on time. On time means pulse is high up to pulse is pulse is at the 1 volt at means during the 1 nanosecond. So this high period, when pulse is high, this period is 1 nanosecond. So this pulse nature is that it will be high for 1 second, not 1 second, 1 nanosecond, and it will be also low for 1 nanosecond. So by including high and low both completely, then it will give you time period of the pulse. So time period is 2 nanosecond. 1 nanosecond it is high, after that 1 nanosecond low, again it is coming to high, then low, then high, then low. So this will be repeating this way. So this is 2 nanosecond is the period of the pulse. All this you have provided, and if you click OK, then it is coming here as a description. Here we can see this is the pulse. It is written pulse 0 volt to 1 volt amplitude is changing. 2 nanosecond is the initial delay. 10 picosecond is rise time. Then 10 picosecond fall time. Then 1 nanosecond is the pulse width. 2 nanosecond is the pulse period. So all these descriptions are now it is coming here. By you can place this text here. So this pulse is having what is the property? It is already written here. So all these are now done. And circuitry part I can come later on. Later on we need to explain, means we need to include the model files, so we can edit and spice directives. We can choose in this one dot include CMOS edu underscore models dot text. This is included. Then click OK and place this one. Already it is placed. After that some transient simulation command is required. So for transient simulation, again you can go to this analysis one, spice analysis. Then by default it is transient, and in transient how that command is given, we can see there is some stop time and time to start the saving data, means from where you want to start recording the data. So from 0 second it is starting, 0 is provided. So between 0 and 10 nanosecond it will be simulating and recording the data and plotting the data. So time start is 0 second and time stop is 10 nanosecond, and increment maximum time step. So how much maximum time step can be adapted, that is 10 picosecond. So from 0 second, then 10 picosecond, 20 picosecond, then 30 up to that, and in this way it is reaching 10 nanosecond and calculating from the program it is simulating and plotting. So these all these if you click OK and place it here, so it is coming like that. So if you do all this, then almost all the requirements are correct, means completed. Though I have not talked this one, but it is simply DC source, voltage source you have taken, and this one extra source which I have taken, that I can cut it, that I can remove it. There is an option which we can take here. This one we can take and cut it. So then after press that escape. So that was only for explaining. All the things are now in hand, now ready in the circuit, and we can say this is the load. If you change, then its behavior will change. Delay will be changing because transistor has some R, drain resistance, source resistance, and this capacitor, external capacitor already you have connected as a load. Internally also some capacitances are there. So there is some RC time constant. Accordingly, some delay may be possible because input voltage will be switching very fast, because rise time, fall time very fast. So input voltage is switching from 0 to 1 volt. It is not visible, any delay not visible. But if you see output characteristics output pulse, you will see output pulse of this circuit. There will be a significant delay between the changing of the state from high to low or low to high. It will take some time to change the state. So that will be visual if you I simulate it and show it. So let us simulate it. It is also plot setting is done for this one also. So this is why it is showing in this way. We can see here initial delay I have given 2 nanosecond, therefore up to 2 nanosecond input pulse is low. After 2 nanosecond it is rising within the 10 picosecond, so rise time is very small, 10 picosecond. So from low to high this input pulse is going in 10 nanosecond. Again it is a high for 1 nanosecond because pulse width is given for 1 nanosecond. After 1 nanosecond it is again switching the state from high to low and taking 10 picosecond time because fall time is also 10 picosecond. And in this way this is again low for 1 nanosecond and again switching the state from low to high within the 10 picosecond and repeating the same cycle. So basically high pulse width, then low, this is complete one cycle. So from 2 to 4, what is the difference of time? 2 nanosecond. 2 nanosecond is the period. So from here to here one period, one cycle. After that this second cycle, then third cycle, then fourth cycle. In this way it is repeating the cycle. And when this input voltage is rising from low to high, at that time when input is low, 0, then because it is inverter circuit, output is at high VDD, and after that whenever change of state happening at input side, it is changing from low to high. At the same point it starts changing state from high to low, but it is not switching so fast as input. It is switching, but it is taking some time and coming down here, and then the state is becoming low state. And if you define delay, you want to define delay, then you have to come 50% down from the maximum. So if you come to at 0.5, this is 50% point. So on the falling, means when the pulse is falling, output pulse is falling, then 50% point of the time, corresponding time for the 50% pulse of the falling is when the pulse is falling from the high to low. So when output is falling from the high to low, then decide a 50% amplitude is there. This at this point, what is the time here in the x-axis, and at 50% point of the rising pulse for the input, rising pulse, for the output falling pulse. So 50% time. So 50% amplitude points are chosen and the time difference is taken. That is called TPHL. It is called TPHL because the pulse is output pulse is coming from high to low. So high to low. This is why HL is coming. H means high, L means low. So TPHL. So difference, we are finding difference at this point. TPHL. This is the difference. What is the time at this green point and at the blue point? So these differences are calculated, and this is called TPHL. And if you come to this side, then this output pulse is rising and input pulse is falling. So here if you find out the difference between these 2 points, it will be TPLH because output is going from low to high, so it will be the time which we are calculating now, TPLH. From this time to this time we are calculating difference, it will give you TPLH. Here TPHL and TPLH you are calculating, then you are adding. So you should add TPLH and TPHL, then divide by 2. It will give you delay of the circuit, whatever, including all the components, whatever inverter internal part, and also some load is there. So including all, this much delay is possible. And we can see if we increase the capacitive load, then delay will be more. If we increase the capacitive load in the circuit also, we can explain. If we increase the capacitive load, delay will be more. So this is just illustration of the CMOS inverter transient characteristics and how to find out the delay. Also, if you want to find out the rise time, fall time of the output pulse, then that can be defined that point between 0.1 means 10%. From rise time, if you have to find out, then at the rising is comes from 10% to 90%. So 90%. What is the difference between these 2 points? What is time difference between these 2 points? That is rise time. Similarly, at the falling is from 90% to the 10% they are coming, and what is the difference between these 2 points? That is called fall time. So rise time, fall time also possible to calculate. Delay also possible to calculate from this transient characteristics. So if I want to see compare with this one, we can see here what is the level of deviation. If we increase the capacitance, suppose increase the capacitance, instead of 50 you can make it 100 femto. Then simulate. There is significant difference, we can see at 50% point also this there is much gap, and downside too much gap. Previously less delay was there, now more delay, so RC time constant is increased. And if I increase further, suppose I increase 150, then you can see this pulse will be too much disturbed. Okay, then calculate, then see. Now we can see so much delay, it is coming from high to low. Here almost here it is reaching, and 50% point is here, 50% point is here, but at the end when it is making it low, almost this much time it is taking, exactly low. So by the load, depending on load, delay will be affected. Let me keep it reasonable value 50 only 50 femtofarad, that will be much reasonable, and then plot it. So this is the plot by which we can find out the delay, we can find out the rise time, fall time, all for the output pulse. For the input pulse, no need of finding, because input pulse already you have decided how much rise time, fall time you want. So rise time you have given 10 pico, fall time 10 picosecond, and fall time delay will be almost negligible, because very fast it is switching, no delay, there is no delay from zero to, means from low to high it is going very fast. From high to low also input is going very fast. So in input no delay, but in output some delay is there. So you can calculate delay at 50% point. The time differences between 50% point of output and input here and here, and take average. And for the rise time, fall time, time difference between 90% and 10% point at falling edge or rising edge. Falling edge, then it is fall time. Rising edge considered, then it is rise time. So these are basic definitions and understanding of the plot and transient characteristics of the plot of the circuit. Next, I can come to the VTC plot. So 1 minute. At this point, is there any question? Obviously, this one I have not discussed. This is already discussed previously. That name of the transistor 50_n. P_50n and 50 nanometer length and 1 micrometer. Yeah, this point also important. I have chosen 1 micrometer channel width for the PMOS, but here we can see width is only 0.5 micrometer per NMOS. This is an important point. Depending on mobility in NMOS, Hole's mobility is considered to be half of that of electron in channel MOSFET. This is why to get the similar amount of current, its width is taken 2 times the width of this transistor, width of the NMOS, or making Kn equal to Kp. There is a constant K, mu CoxW by L. So for making that constant K, or sometimes it is beta. In different books, they are different style. So beta is used for the Neelablu-Weste, but for Kang and for other books, it is K. So for this MOS transistor, it is Kn, and for PMOS Kp. To make Kn equal to Kp, there is requirement that Wp should be 2 times Wn. Wn is 0.5, Wp is 1 micron. So Wp should be 2 times the width of the channel MOSFET. Wp should be 2 times Wn. So these are the few requirements which we have considered during the simulation. This is why we are getting the perfect simulation. Otherwise, it will not be as good as expected. So this is the transient one, and let me come to the VTC plot, transfer characteristics of the CMOS inverter. In the transient characteristics, is there any question? Dear student, do you have any question in this one?
No, sir.
Then okay. Then moving. Uh, then VTC plot also we have done. Inverter VTC. So this is the circuit, same circuit. We can see PMOS is same, NMOS is same, dimensions are also same. This voltage source is the source of the PMOS is same. 1 volt is given already, and the input voltage we want to vary. So we are no voltage given, but during the DC simulation, input voltage V in this voltage source is varying from 0 to 1 volt, and increment is 1 millivolt. So model file is also provided, that is also there, and this voltage source at input is now just only by default it is DC source, and we are providing some default value 0, and we are not going in advance. We are just using whatever default symbol. So it is acting as a DC voltage source. This one is also DC voltage source, and this is M1, which is PMOS. It is the source of the PMOS. This one is the drain of the PMOS. This is gate of the PMOS. This is body. Body of the PMOS is connected to the highest potential point VDD. Body of the NMOS is connected to the lowest or minimum most negative point, or most negative means the least potential difference. This point at which potential is minimum. So ground is the most negative, you can say, or most least voltage point. So at the ground we are means directly it is connected, body is connected to the source, and then source is connected to ground. So effectively body and source both are connected to ground, and then output is taken from the common drain points from this one, and input is given at common gate points Bin, and all these inclusions we have already seen that how to do. Then we can do the simulation and understand the characteristics. It was this is the VTC plot of CMOS inverter. We can say this green color plot. This green color plot is basically output voltage versus input voltage. So on the x-axis it is input voltage. On the x-axis you are plotting input voltage 0 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 up to 1 volt. 1 volt is the VDD. So at 1 volt VDD, when input voltage, or first we can talk VOH. When input voltage is 0 volt, when input voltage is 0 volt or low, so low, logic low, complete logic low, at that point what is the output voltage? That is called VOH. So at this point output voltage is here 1 volt, which is equal to VDD. VDD previously in the circuit also we have seen VDD is 1 volt, so VOH is coming exactly equal to VDD. Also another point here coming 0 volt, which is the voltage, output voltage at drain voltage at the input voltage of 1 volt. When you are applying input voltage 1 volt, in V in is equal to 1 volt. At this point this is the 0 is basically because this plot is touching the x-axis means 0. So 0 is the output voltage. This voltage is 0 when input voltage is 1 volt. So when input is equal to VDD, then output VOL equal to 0, or which is basically VOL in this case 0, and VOH in this case 1 volt or VDD. So this is perfect, means very good in the sense that it is swinging. This plot is swinging between the 0 volt to 1 volt. In CMOS inverter, it is swinging from 0 volt to 1 volt, or we can say 0 volt to VDD. It is swinging between 0 volt and VDD. So this is perfect. Also this is the blue line. This blue line, and this blue line is showing V out equal to V in. This blue line is showing V out equal to V in. We can write here something, draw, then write the text, draw. So V out equal to V in. V out equal to V in. This line is showing V out equal to V in. Again we can do the plot setting, save plot setting. So it will be saved. And V out equal to V in is cutting at this point. So this is deciding the threshold voltage of this circuit. So at this point, if you draw perpendicular on the x-axis, so it will be giving you Vm value. Vm means threshold voltage or VTH. Or sometimes it is written VTH or Vm. Different notations are there. So the switching threshold, it is called switching threshold of the circuit. This point is providing the on the x-axis. If you draw the perpendicular from this point, so wherever it is cutting, that voltage is basically switching threshold of this circuit. Switching threshold is decided by this point. Also, two more points are necessary to explain VIL and VIH. So at the when this is switching the state from high to low, here somewhere some point comes which is having negative slope. dV out by dV in is equal to -1. From that point, if you draw perpendicular on the x-axis wherever it is cutting, that is called VIL, input low voltage. And another point is here at which dV out by dV in is equal to negative. So negative slope you are getting here somewhere. If you draw perpendicular from this point and wherever it is cutting to the x-axis, this point is defined as VIH. So VIL we have defined and VIH also we have defined. So VIL and VIH we got, and these are important parameters to decide that there is basically below the VIL there is some gain less than 1, and above the VIS gain is less than 1. But if you are between VIL and VIH, gain is more than 1, because in this region we can see it is switching very fast. It is switching very fast means change of with input voltage output is changing very fast. So this region is basically not useful for digital application, but for amplification it is possible to use. So this between VIL and VIH it is useful for amplification, but for digital application this one high state is between 0 and VIL, and the low state means output is high between 0 and VIL. So basically between 0 and VIL it is inverter, it is inverting basically input, it is from 0 to VIL, this point, it is considering this voltage 0 to VIL, it is considering as input, it is considering as logic low input, and from VIH up to VDD it is considering logic high. So VIH to VDD, this VIH you are getting here somewhere, VIH to VDD it is considering input as logic high, and from 0 to VIL it is considering input as logic low. So from logic low it is inverting and making it high, and from this place to this place it is considering logic high. This is why output is inverted and becoming low, and in between it is forbidden. It is in between VIL and VIH it is not useful for the digital applications. So like that. So these are few important points which we have to understand from CMOS inverter characteristics, and that is also clear now. In theory also same thing we have discussed. So now from my side it is done. Now from my side it is done now. Next, not in this lecture, but next time I can explain some making the symbol. So for making symbol we will remove this power, this voltage source, and we will provide here some input port. Input port can be provided as here by taking text, label the text, and select it as input output whatever port, and connect it here. So here we will provide VDD as input port, here digital ground as input port, here V in already provided, here V out already provided. So only if these ports, input and output ports will be there, and this circuit connection will be there, and then we will make it symbol for this one, and that symbol will be used for next stage simulation, like ring oscillator you want to make, means by connecting different inverters, like first inverter output is connected to the input of second inverter, then output of second inverter connected to output of third inverter. In this way, either 3 stage or 5 stage or 7 or 11 or 17 stages, all odd number of inverters are connected. At the end, final output of the final inverter, last inverter, is connected to the input of the first inverter. So that type of ring oscillator will be designed, and in that we can use the symbol. So first we will create the symbol, then we will use that symbol for simulating the inverter characteristics. After that we will simulate the ring oscillator characteristics. These things will be discussed later on. So the importance is that is when we have to design so many higher level circuits, so every time drawing of this circuit is not required. If we make a symbol for this, that will be much easier to take every time that symbol, and automatically that symbol will incorporate all these things which are here, and that symbol will be used in the high level circuit design, and it will simulate. So these are few points which I wanted to explain now. Now you can do by your own. So explanation is over. Now if you have any question, then you can ask. Demonstration part over and explanation over. I can I want to invite any questions, anything you want to ask, you can ask. I am downloading attendance also. So again coming sharing. Yes, if somebody has any means problem, any troubleshooting is required, circuitry, simulation, any other issue, I can discuss now and troubleshoot now. Demonstration part is over. Also, if I give a hint, if you want to draw the instead of CMOS inverter, if you want to design NAND gate, NOR gate, or any other gate, the similar way as we have done, means mostly NAND gate, NOR gate, no DC characteristics will be studied. In that case, we will study only transient. So you can design that I am going to explain in next class, how to design different logic circuits in the static CMOS logic, and in other various like means pass transistor logic, transmission gate logic, and dynamic CMOS logic. Various logic techniques are there. So first technique we will learn, that is static CMOS logic. In static CMOS logic, how to design various circuits. Let me also give some hint. In static CMOS logic circuit, we will try to implement Boolean function. So generally, if you have to make, you have to implement some R function, and function, and an R function. How to implement inverter function you already seen, and an R function with the help of NMOS. If you want to implement AND function, you should connect the NMOS in series, and if you have to implement the R function, then you should connect the NMOS transistors in parallel and give the input at the gate side and connect them in parallel. And if you are implementing AND, then you connect them, connect NMOS transistors in series. That we will learn in the theory. And then if you have to implement complement of that, instead of suppose A and B you are implementing with the help of two NMOS transistors connected in series, and A and B by connecting in series, and A or B by connecting two NMOS transistors in parallel. So similarly, A bar and B bar, it can be implemented by connecting two PMOS transistors in series, and similarly A bar and B bar. A bar and B bar can be connected in series PMOS transistor, and A bar or B bar can be implemented by connecting two PMOS transistors in parallel. So these techniques will be utilized to implement different NAND gate, NOR gate, and etc. That also we will do in live also. So by using CMOS, static CMOS logic, how to implement different gates and different other complex gates instead of basic gates. Also complex gates can be implemented. Also any complex Boolean expression can be implemented. That we will learn in theory also. We will try to implement here also. So it's after NAND gate also we will try to understand how to implement NAND gate, how to implement NOR gate. All these will be also discussed in lab, and this is the thing which we have to do. So, but those things will be done later on, not today. So up to now it is over, means enough. I am stopping the recording. But for discussing and for doing the experiment, you can